huge asset to our team. So if we can play that video right now, that'd be awesome. All right, so can you guys still hear me? Hank, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know why Corey isn't on here right now. I can't see him on the Twitch. There we go. All right, now we get the full squad on here. Now we're ready.
Awesome.
Corey, can you hear us?
Yeah, definitely. I can hear you guys.
All right, awesome. So Corey is going to be the newest member of our core team, the director of esports. I'm excited to bring him back. And I know everyone's kind of wondering what he's been doing the past couple of years, what he's going to be doing for us, to the table. So I'll start off the questions for him before you guys start asking them yourself. But I guess, Corey, do you want to fill us in on what you've been doing for the past couple of years?
Yeah, man. So it's good to be back, first of all. I really enjoyed it here, and I know that me and you make one hell of a team when we're teaming up. I've been namely doing some esports stuff, but on the flip side, I've just kind of been doing other things as well, trying to try my hand at a bunch of other things, kind of IRL. So, went with another esports org for about a year. We did some cool stuff there, and then I kind of took a break a little bit. I didn't want to get burned out, but I've been seeing quite a bit of things happening for the future, and I just really kind of was itching to get back into it. So pretty much what I've been doing the past year is raising a chunky baby. So
yeah. Corey had a baby recently as well, and it's probably the biggest baby I've ever seen in my whole life, honestly. But yeah, Corey, so you've been involved with esports the past couple of years and doing other stuff in the scene, but could you tell us like where you're bringing to the table and where you're going to be helping us with moving forward?
yeah, absolutely. So Web3 is really catching on in the esports community. I know there's a certain org out there named M80 who actually had a pretty decent sized announcement today in the Web3 space, partnering with a well-known cryptocurrency outlet, as well as trying to get esports involved. I think the potential for that is just too big to ignore now, especially heading into this next decade. I mean, we're still at the beginning stages of the 2020 to 2030 range. AI is becoming quite a big thing that I'm sure companies will probably utilize within the next 5 years if they haven't already been utilizing it now. So just seeing things like that, yeah, I think it's time that we take esports into the next stratosphere and stop, trying to replicate more or less the basic sports outlook. I know that sports has a kind of an algorithm that worked for it in the past, but for esports, it's just not working. So to actually transition from that to the Web3 space is going to be critical and crucial in these upcoming moments, especially for something like esports, which has the potential, just doesn't know where to fit in yet, right? So, realistically, that's kind of what drew me back in. I feel like Web3 just has tremendous potential with esports. I think that they're a match made in heaven, and I'm excited to see the Wild West kind of become colonized.
Yeah. Yeah. So Corey and I have been in contact, probably for the past year or so, on and off. But he was involved with another organization, and they were talking to an investment firm, the one that we've been talking to a little bit on the East Coast here in Florida. And when I told Corey what we were doing over here, he said that we might be a fit for that investment firm because they were looking into traditional esports and they just didn't see the ROI on that. They wanted to be part of something bigger and better. And so when I told Corey what we were doing, he said he liked the idea, and that was when I kind of reached out and said, "Hey, you should just join us. Like, come back and we'll run it again." And we did make an awesome team, I think, for a long time. And I think we could do some awesome things here, especially with the connections that you've made over the past couple of years. In esports directly. So you have access to a bunch of organizations and players and teams and stuff like that I think we're going to be able to leverage pretty well. But I'm definitely excited. And I think that this is an awesome team that we have right now between Corey, Hank, Matt, and myself. I think we're going to be doing some awesome things. It's all people that I trust, and I think trust each other. And I think we're going to be able to prove that as time goes on. So, Corey, do you have anything else you want to add before we kind of move on a little bit? I
Yeah,
think people have
I'm
questions for you,
excited.
but
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm just excited to push forward and see what kind of stuff and what kind of quote unquote trouble we can stir up more or less in this space. I feel like we can actually get our foot in the door and kind of do things that haven't been done before, kind of paving the way, the Lewis and Clark more or less of the world. So
yeah, the Ferdinand and Magellan, baby. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions for Corey, you can ask in the Discord, and then we can relay that to him. I think you should be able to comment as well inside of Rio. Hank, are they able to comment inside of Rio, and it'll show on the Twitch channel?
Yep. They should be able to do everything you can do on Twitch right in the Rio platform.
All right, cool. So that's awesome. So if you guys have questions, I know there's a bunch of questions inside the Discord AMA channel, but if you guys have other ones that you have for Corey, whatever, you can put them in the text box. We'll be able to see them. So move on to beta. At the end, we can go back and see if there's any questions for Corey, but we'll move on to beta, which is probably going to be the Hank show for now, because I have been away for a little bit, for a couple weeks, just getting updates once or twice throughout the week from Hank and the team, and seeing the feedback from the testers inside the testing channels. But Hank, can you give us a little bit of information on what beta has rolled out and what it looks like now compared to maybe what you have left to do?
Yeah,
before
so
MVP?
the beta is going really well. We just got that out on the 18th of August. We've been working through all of the different suggestions and feedback that we've gotten from everybody. We've already put out, I want to say, 3 full patches with another one on the way. We fixed a lot of little quality of life issues, like certain things would pop up on your browsers. There was a little bit of mobile issues that we fixed already. We added the ability to see when somebody went live on the Rio platform. We've fixed all loading issues that were reported. We've increased the performance and stability of the platform. Everything that you would want to see with something that is ready for going MVP, that's what we're preparing for. So a lot of things like featured streamers are now able to be clicked on the slider, and like just little suggestions that the community has done really has helped the overall feel of the platform. And we've also been able to stress test our backend, the different servers that we have running everything, and just making sure that it's set up for scalability once we have thousands of users. So, I mean, yeah, we've done really well. All of the streamers and testers that we've had on there, we've fixed pretty much every reported bug now. Once we roll out more of them, we'll just continue to chunk through the list and keep going. But we haven't had any major issues, any major downtime, or nothing like that.
Yeah, we had no major issues until we tried to do this first stream. Had nothing to do with Rio, but just technical stuff. But yeah, so are you
That
able?
wasn't Rio? Okay, so it's not my fault.
Yeah, but do you have any kind of timeline and estimation of when MVP is going to be ready? Now that you've got
Yeah.
some of the feedback and you kind of know what needs to happen to make MVP a reality.
So the last items on our list for actually going into MVP is we are working on switching from sandbox mode to live for all of the payment stuff. That means like our banking partner, we're getting off of their test environment and switching to the actual live components. We're switching to the live components of PayPal and all these other different stuff, getting off of testnet into mainnet. That's primarily our focus right now, and pretty much the last key items that are left is just the payment oriented stuff. Everything else in terms of user functionality, account systems, etc., has all been working fine and ready to go.
All right, yeah. So now that we have beta pretty much done and it's getting closer to MVP, Hank touched on it a little bit. We're gonna have to get back in communication with the payment partners so that we can show them the beta. They can go through it, approved by the banks, so we have our final solution. So right now we have a solution in place for payments called Maverick, but that's not the final one. That's just for test transactions and for our testers to use to make sure everything works correctly. So they made it seem like it was a pretty easy transition, but Hank said today it might not be as easy as they make it sound. That sounds like some development on the back end. So trying to get that done as soon as possible. But now that we have, we're able to demo the beta, that opens up a lot of doors for us. So we can do the banking. We can show it off to the investors because, as I mentioned previously, I think it was in one of the announcements, our investors wanted to see a demo of beta. So now we have that now. We're just waiting for the last few bugs to be fixed and features to be integrated. They wanted to see a kind of a prototype of the custom apps that Matt has been working on, and those should be done. So we have that, and they wanted to see financials. So we've done everything except for finishing up this beta, fixing all these bugs so that it looks really good for the investors. So we're going to circle back with them. I'm going to email them tomorrow morning and get that rolling again, and we can meet up with them. They have a venue in Tampa, so they actually wanted to meet up with Matt and I while they're here. It's pretty cool, a sim racing facility. So trying to meet up with Duke too, maybe April. But and the last part with the beta also is we're able to use that with inside of a waiting list. So Corey and Text and some of these other guys that are on our team that have connections in the esports world, we can start loading up that waiting list so that once MVP does launch, we can easily onboard these individuals. They're going to be given this their Twitch usernames, their emails, their information and stuff like that, so that we can get a profile set up for them, and then we can start running pretty much right out of the gate. So I think we're going to touch. I've been in contact with a bunch of organizations up to this point. You guys are familiar with them as well. We've done tournaments with them in the past. So circle back with them, get everybody onboarded with inside their organizations. Start with them, get a nice user base for the MVP, and then build up from there. We can make deals with bigger streamers and stuff like that as we move forward. And then Hank and I also had a very good call. I think it was a couple weeks now. They're actually out of Tampa too, or at least he was in Tampa. But it's going to be a pretty cool feature that I think we're exploring and adding to the Rio platform that might make us a little bit more unique than competitors and people who are doing something similar. So it was an awesome call. Hank is the one that set that up from his network. I thought it was pretty cool. Hank, do you have anything else to say about that? Or
Yeah, it pretty much ties in with some of the stuff that we were doing with Pop Gallery as well. They've got a lot of different AI and AR aspects with their company. We'll be releasing more information as we continue to progress with them, but it's definitely a unique feature that all of our streamers are going to be able to benefit from. And it's definitely something that nobody's ever seen before, or at least Kyle and I haven't. And it was really cool.
yeah, I showed Corey too. He thought it was pretty cool, but and I think some others in the community. I shared it with Zephyr because he seemed like he knew what he was talking about, like VTubers and stuff like that. I think could benefit from it, but it seems pretty cool. Nobody else is doing it, and so now that we have a demo, like I said, of the beta, we can send that over to them, see how they are able to integrate with our platform, and go from there. But I think it's going to be something that's unique. It's not out there yet, so I think it's going to add a little bit of extra flair to what we have going on. So now that the MVP is coming out, we can start building features off of the base of the Rio platform, which is pretty cool. So we can start getting some of the cooler stuff in place. Would you guys have anything to add before I get into like the Discord AMA questions? Because I think that's pretty much it that I have for now. Unless Hank, you have anything else?
No, I don't.
Okay, cool.
Actually,
So
if you are watching and you're on Twitch, you're on the wrong link. So make sure you're on Rio.Stream /stream Rio platform. All right, because you can actually start using Rio to watch this. You can also go right to the user, and you'll be able to click their live link as well on Rio. So this is the first test.
it looks like some people are on there. And I apologize for the delay in the beginning of this, the technical difficulties, but we haven't done this in a while, so it took us a little bit of time to get it set up. And I just came back from the hospital like 50 minutes ago, so I was scrambling around. Let's see what questions we have here. Where's that AMA channel? All right, Zephyr said he couldn't be on. He has a few questions. Right now, Rio is integrated with Twitch. Is there any additional integration with Twitch that is still being worked on? Possible bugs. Hank, I think that's a question for you.
Yeah, so right now for the MVP, we are primarily just focused on getting Twitch integrated. Once we have it fully working, we're going to be getting all of the different streaming platforms that we can aggregated onto the platform as well. Right now, we have the different social media options where you can see like your Instagram posts and different platforms like that on your profile. Some of them, like YouTube Live, they don't let you access those off of their website. So we kind of have to just use the platforms that we're able to access. But again, we're using Twitch for the MVP so that we have something that we can show the potential investors and really start moving into these all these other areas.
There's a question in the chat. CNY, is there a way to keep streams going in like a small pop out while browsing through other parts of Rio? That'd be a pretty good feature. That's pretty cool. You know what he's asking?
So, yeah, the Twitch stream itself does have a pop-up feature embedded into it. You can see the little button if you hover over the video. But right now, if you go to another page, it will close. But that is something that we could definitely look into and see if we can add.
All right, sounds good. And then I think this might be a question. For the special guests, Corey, why are you here, and what do you offer specifically that makes you the perfect fit to be here? I think you kind of touched on a little bit.
That's a great question. Realistically speaking, in order for things like this to happen, growing homegrown talent is always good, but having people attached to the projects that have kind of that notoriety. I guess that's the wrong word, but just the amount of attention that they can bring to the platform is always good to have. I think that I can actually bring some of these bigger people to this service just based off of how great of an idea it is. It's a fantastic idea. I mean, it's just what it is. That's realistically, without getting into it too much, because I feel like we can talk about this all day. About like a little bit of what I can actually bring to this organization. Me and Kyle made a really killer team for about a year and a half, so I'm really excited to get going and to see exactly what we can accomplish now.
So I guess going off of that, I think the best part about you coming back and what you're able to do, like what Corey was able to do with Noble in past years, was he was able to somehow reach teams and players from other countries as well. We had some of the best Fortnite players in South America, some of the best Rocket League players from South America, teams in India. So he and I do have a bigger network than just the United States. So we are able to cover all these countries, and we're going to try to figure out ways to work with these different countries, because even like these countries like India and these other third world countries, like the passive income that they could potentially make from nobility, I think is going to be life changing for a lot of streamers, and they have massive followings over there, especially their mobile games. So I think it's going to be pretty awesome. I think it's going to be a hit and popular outside the United States, and I think Corey's going to be a big part of that. So just wanted to give you some credit there, I guess. All right, what is the target for number of active streamers in Rio from month 1 to 6 after we go live? So I don't know if we've made that chart yet or that diagram yet, but I think what we want to start with, let's try to get 1,000 streamers in the first month. I think that's pretty doable. It will take a lot of hard work, but I think we're able to do that, and then grow up from there. In 6 months, I think Matt said he wanted 25,000 streamers possible, and then by the end of the year we want 50,000. So we'll see what we can do. I think if we're able to everything in place where we're able to offer this service to other countries like India and South America, I think we'll be able to really kill it. So that's one of my priorities once we get MVP launched. So I have a list of different things that I want to get into right away, and that's one of them because I think that's going to be monstrous for the success of Nobility and Rio. Is the period of hiding the darkness finally over after Rio goes live so that the project is starting to be heard and seen everywhere? Yes. We'll be doing some marketing and stuff like that. Right out of the gate, once MVP is launched, I think what we really want to do is focus on bringing our personal connections in and our network and the teams and players that we have access to first, and then build off from that. But that's when we can really start marketing. And once people are successful with it, we help increase their audience and they're able to monetize it. They're able to make passive income from that. We can use their numbers for marketing material to bring in more people. So, Hank, is there a reason why you're laughing?
It's just the way that Anders freaking worded that, man. That was hilarious. The hiding in the darkness. I loved it. That's a good way of putting it. I don't know.
He's got a way of wording things. And then I saw another one on there. Oh, you said you accidentally deleted it. That's why it's not there anymore. But
Yeah,
so
his third question was the investment fund repayment, and obviously now that we have the beta ready, once we're able to raise our capital that we want to hit, we'll be replenishing that as it comes in. So that was just the other thing we were going to touch on.
yeah, so that's all mapped out as well. So Matt and I put together like a cost and expense sheet. That's part of the financials that we put together for him. And the money that's going towards development is part of the expenses that the investment firm is covering. So we have all that included in the offer that we're sending over to them once we start negotiating with them a little bit. So that money is being replenished as soon as we get it, which I think I mentioned when we first took it out as well. So
Yeah, we did. He just wanted, I guess he just wanted us to cover that again.
yeah,
But I meant to react to it, but I accidentally deleted it.
he's over his questions. Yeah, Caleb, this is where so people can go in this. There's I guess so. Caleb CN White didn't know that there was an AMA inside the Discord, but if you guys go into the Discord, there's a under Community Hub. There's a channel called AMA Questions. If you put questions there for future reference for future AMAs, you can put your questions in there, and then I'll just go through a bunch of them while we're on. So I can answer them live for you guys. You can put them in advance as you think of them, and then we'll get to them. From CM White, will it be possible for a normal streamer to reach MVP status, or is that only for people who may or may not get offered contracts to stream with Rio? You want to answer that?
Yeah, so we actually have multiple levels of streamers. Some of them will be accessible to everybody. You'll be able to, as your channel grows, you'll be able to move up to different levels. And then obviously we do have highest level of a streamer, which would be more so for anybody who we are personally bringing on for, like exclusive contracts and partnerships and stuff like that. So that top level will probably stay pretty exclusive, but the levels underneath it will be something that you can work your way up to and apply for.
Yeah. So there's all going to be all different kinds of advantages, but one of the reasons why we wanted to do it for internal purposes is so when streamers want to cash out their gems, we have to have some kind of a delay because we want to protect ourselves from any kind of liability. So these streamers who potentially earn thousands of dollars from tips, we kind of want to work with them more personally because there's more money there. We're not too worried about the smaller streamers, too much money involved there, but for the bigger guys, we kind of want to work one-on-one with them, and that's more of like the MVP status. So that's the reason why we're doing that, and it allows us to tag those people internally in our admin side of everything, so that we know what they're doing and stuff like that. Just so we're on top of that.
Yep.
Will we be holding tournaments on Rio? If so, the payouts be paid in gems, nobility, or another form. Sure, we'll be holding tournaments. So that's one of the main things you want to do in the platform. And one of the items I have, or one of the products that I have on the roadmap, is creating our own tournament hosting as well. So we used start.gg in the past before, but I want to have our own. I think that'd be awesome, especially like we can have streamers within Rio who have accounts participate in special tournaments and stuff like that. You know, we're kind of rewarding them and giving back for them being a part of the platform and having an account there. So having special tournaments that, to answer your second question, that pay them out in gems, nobility, and other things as well. So we can do special giveaways. We have partnerships with like custom controllers and stuff like that. So we have a lot of things that we can potentially give away.
More than likely, it would be nobility over gems, just so that we don't commingle funding, or we don't have to worry about trying to make up for any assets that we're supposed to be paying out streamers, etc. But we can do pretty much everything.
Yep. Gooseman put in the first chat. So all fiat moving into Rio will swap to Noble. So not all of it, 'cause we have to use the fiat to pay for certain things like hosting expenses and stuff like that. So there are things that we have to pay for with fiat, but the vast majority of it will be going back to nobility. Because that's, like I said this before, but the tipping platform and the stuff that we have right now in the Rio platform is not a huge revenue generator. You know, eventually I think it will be, but especially in the short term, it's not going to be a huge revenue generator for us compared to the custom apps. So the custom apps is going to be where we're going to be able to make a good amount of money, and the tipping, I think, is just one of the ways that we're able to give back to nobility, and just to keep it integrated with inside of our ecosystem and make sure that the holders are benefiting. So I think we will have a bunch of volume from tipping at some point, hopefully within the next year. But for now, it's not going to be too much revenue generating. But we'll see. I guess we'll always be surprised. Are there any plans of getting any pro US esports teams? That's something that Corey and I talked about as well, kind of starting up new teams again. And we do have contact with a bunch of them, still in contact with a lot of the guys that I work with in India and South America, which would be awesome. They're awesome guys. And they create a lot of content too, which is always fun. So build out our esports teams with inside of Nobility and Rio. I think that'd be cool. So there's no need for Noble anymore. And create something through that. And then, we have all these assets and stuff that we are able to have them use so we can get our name out there for marketing purposes. So it's definitely on the horizon for sure. I think that's something that Corey might be able to take over sooner than later.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely fun to watch your team play and do its thing. And I mean, that Team Secret team, if you guys are keeping up with Rocket League, that Team Secret team is doing some special things right now. That was our old guys. So, we have a knack for this stuff. And if that is definitely a route that we go, just rest assured that we will be competing with the best. I mean, me and Kyle have a pretty good knack for sorting those kinds of teams out. So,
yeah, it'd be good marketing too, because one of the things that Corey and I kind of discovered through Noble is that traditional esports are not profitable at all. To do something a little bit different, so that's where Rio and Nobility came into play, and I think we're going to be able to leverage what we're doing with Rio and Nobility to build out esports rosters better than what we were able to do with the traditional business model in esports. So it's definitely going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. I want to get those teams back because it's definitely fun. Like just watching the tournaments, rooting for a team, watching them on Twitch, and then talking crap in the chat and stuff like that. It's fun.
always.
So what games? Man, we had all different kinds of teams. We had Rainbow Six, Apex, Rocket League, and Valorant. We were all over the place. We had pretty much everything. We even had chess, which is pretty cool.
He's been just a monster. I still
So-
keep up with him.
Jester did have another question on the AMA channel. He said, how does all this tie into the current diamond contract for nobility? Can the contract be adjusted to allow for weekends or special occasions or stuff like that to reduce the sales fees on tipping and things like that? And the too long didn't read answer is yes, because our contract is written using diamonds. We are able to always seamlessly upgrade without any migrations, so we can just we can change and add functionality as much as we want. So if anything does come up where we think, hey, we came up with a really good idea, we want to implement this, we can go ahead and add an additional function without having to worry about anything, implement it right into Rio without any users having to do anything in order to get that done. So yeah, we can add, remove, update anything that we need. We have no development strains in place because of that.
Yeah, that was pretty much the whole reason why we trusted Hank to do the diamond contracts. He's one of the only people doing it too. I don't really understand why, because it seems so versatile and powerful. I don't get why other people aren't using it, but we're fortunate enough to be able to leverage it.
Certic only has one engineer who knows how to audit the diamond contracts in general, and they're charging six figures right now, and they don't even audit it correctly. I got it done for one of our clients, and they audited it incorrectly, and I had to get the creator of the standard to come and talk to Certic and tell them why they were wrong. I mean, it's so new, and there's just not a lot of people out there who fully understand it, and thankfully, myself and my guys are pretty much pros at it at this point. But it really just gives us a leg up compared to pretty much everybody else out there.
Yeah, because especially if you have a use case for it, it just makes way easier. Like you can adjust things on the fly. It's more easily integratable with the use case. You can change reflection percentages, which is what Gooseman is asking right now. Are reflection percentages changing once you go live, and if so, what will they be? I don't think it's going to change for the regular contract, like if you're going through Pancake Swap or something, but we definitely discussed what the percentages are going to be for streamers, because we can't have it too big, but we don't want it too small as well, because we want our holders to benefit. So I think we had a lengthy conversation in the Discord a while ago about what that looks like, but I think we're going with 5%. We'll stick for now. So that's always we're able to do whatever we want moving forward. So we'll see what that does, what that gets us, and if streamers object to it, obviously have a conversation internally. For right now, that should be good, because that's not too much. 5%, that's like a standard processing fee or something like that. Could a ticker of some sorts, Hank, this is probably for you, and I think this should be easy to do, honestly, but could a ticker of some sorts be implemented to show the total amount of gems tips that have been donated as a whole?
Yeah, that's super easy. I mean, for the streamers right now, their analytics page, we already show them how much they've been tipped. So we would just, combine all of it from the database and be able to display it. That's super easy. And we have, once we get the full investment from our raise, we'll be able to go through and add a lot more quality of life updates like that. We are definitely taking all the feedback, suggestions, taking that into account. Right now, we're just trying to focus on stability and making sure everything is flawless and running correctly, getting all of the major components done. But we're taking an active list of everything that you guys would like to see, and we'll definitely get those implemented as soon as we're able to.
Yeah. And then I think the last question I see on here is from Caleb again. So, okay, I see in White wasn't the one asking those questions before. The name's cut off, but it was Crook Tyler, I think. But Corey, this might be a good one for you. You guys used to host very big gaming tournaments in the past. Yeah, we did. We held $50,000 Warzone tournament, like a $25,000 Fortnite, Overcooked. We've done some cool stuff in the past. But he's asking, have you thought about partnering with websites like MLG and CLG to broadcast the tournaments to a larger audience and use those tournaments as marketing?
To be completely honest, Esports Arena was fairly good with us. If you guys have been to Vegas, they're the ones that are posted on the Luxor, that big old pyramid-looking building out there.
Yeah,
they have their
that's where we had our event.
Yeah,
Nice
they are. They're a pretty good organization. At the moment, I will say, bar none, we had and this is me bragging. I'm usually modest about stuff, but bar none, we had the best tournaments out there. It wasn't even like close. I mean, Kyle can probably vouch for that. I'm sure he feels a bit of pride with that as well. I mean, we had the absolute best tournaments out there. We had something for everyone: the viewers, the streamers, the players. Um,
Celebrities, athletes, we had everything. I think our
Literally.
first few were really good, and then we, ran into some hiccups right there. Used a different team, and it wasn't on par, so we had to switch back. But I think like our Warzone tournament was awesome.
Yeah.
The announcers were amazing. We had great turnout, had some awesome teams and players, so it was awesome. All right. I don't see any other questions. Anybody have anything else? You guys can put it in the chat.
I
Or
think
Hank
that
or
was
Corey.
everything from the AMA questions itself. I see CN White is typing, but I think that was everything that we had here.
I know Cian
I
White is he's a huge gamer. I know he's kicks ass at Overwatch.
Awesome.
We did
That's not-
have several questions come up like in the Discord throughout, and I guess I will touch on this a little bit. People have asked if we're going to do a the mobile app will not be part of the MVP, but alongside our custom apps, we're definitely going to look at having our own Rio app out there on the app stores as well. It's just not something that we're going to do right away. So I did want to touch on that, as people have asked throughout the last few weeks.
Gooseman's up there, so I missed it. Yes, I think I answered Gooseman's. He had a couple questions that we answered. Yeah, we answered I think all the questions in both. Someone's typing right now, but I think that's it. You guys have anything to add, Corey or Hank?
Just excited to get started. Well, to keep going.
I just want to thank everybody for their feedback and testing support so far. It's pretty stable. We've made a lot of improvements, and we're looking forward to actually getting MVP out and really start getting the ball rolling. It's going to be a lot of fun going through this over the next year or 2 years or 20 years, however long we're able to do it for. And it's just it's nice to finally see the product out and people using it and being able to see it. It's been a long time coming. I know Kyle has been ripping his hair out slowly over the last year trying to get it out, and finally seeing it out and everything else. I mean, it's really cool to see. Also want to give Kyle a big shout out for being a daddy now. He's also been ripping his hair out for that, probably more so.
That's crazy.
But
You're up next, man. You're up next.
Yeah, don't tell my wife.
Yeah, but yeah, I appreciate it. It's been, dude, it's like the best but worst 7 months of my life. Like Quincy had such a horrible pregnancy, but it was all worth in the end. It's like probably the only thing that was actually worth everything that she went through. So glad it's over, and yeah, I'm excited to start that new journey. But yeah,
So now you're just in the doghouse forever because she can just hold it over your head and like, oh well, you didn't have to go through what I went through, so go ahead and take the trash out, Mr. Kai.
Yeah. No, I have no problem doing any of that. Like she has to like do the breastfeeding and stuff like that. So she has to wake up like every 3 hours, like all throughout the day, just for that, and she has to drive it over to the hospital. It's such a pain. So definitely
She's
over for sure.
superhero.
Yeah, it's all women, man. When it comes to babies, they just turn into Wonder Woman. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Also,
yeah,
the
so it looks
Hulk.
like we went through.
Just give it a month.
Yeah, so it looks like we answered everything. Yes, Caleb, it is a good idea to use them for additional marketing. But I eventually want to have our own platform. I think that'd be cool, especially like it's a great way to give back to where Hulk Smash is on here now. Yeah, so I think that's it. I don't have anything else. Corey and Hank sound like they don't have anything else either. log off here with our first stream. I apologize for all the technical difficulties. I think it's still happening on the screen, but thank you guys for hopping on here. If you want to watch the replay, it looks like somebody or a lot of people missed the beginning of this. It's probably because of the technical difficulties, but there will be a VOD, so a video on demand that will be posted inside the channel or this user. So the same, the link that you guys got to get here, if you're on Rio, the VOD will be posted there once we get off here. So yeah, so thank you guys. Thank you for hopping on here, and we'll talk to you guys soon. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me. Keep giving me stuff to fix.